Olen Zellweger is going to have a career year next season, and I'm going to tell you why and much more on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome, everydayer. Thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan, and I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey, but we are talking about the Anaheim Ducks today. I gotta have a big conversation with you about why Beckett Sennecke is going to be a future first liner and dominate with Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier. But before we get to that, we got to talk about how Pavel Mintyukov is an absolute pitbull and will be comparable to players like Charlie McAvoy, Torrey Krug, Brent Burns, those big, massive, aggressive players. But first off, we got to talk about why Olen Zellweger is going to have a career year next season. He had a pretty great year this year. Improvements were made. He got to play a lot more this year, but next year is going to pop off, and we're going to get into why. Let's look at his numbers from this year and just how it's going to improve next year. He had 62 games played this year, 7 goals, 13 assists for a total of 20 points. He was +1 in the plus-minus column with 20 penalty minutes. He had 1 power play goal and 4 power play assists. Nothing shorthanded, no game-winning goals, and no overtime goals for him. He did have a 130 shots on net with a shot percentage of 5.4%. No faceoffs were taken by him. He had 37 hits, 72 block shots, 21 takeaways, 61 giveaways, and a total on ice average game played of 18 minutes and 58 seconds. So this year, Greg Cronin had a very, very interesting way of managing Olen Zellweger and his play time and his time on ice. It was just, I felt like he was very, very underutilized this year, especially with how dynamic of a player he can be. And I think the in and out and the ups and downs and all arounds with how things were going with Greg Cronin, it seemed like Zellweger was a little like he was nervous, or like he had that anxiety of like, I'm in and out of this roster. Like, I want to make sure I do well. And it would come through in his moments of sometimes he would mishandle the puck, or he'd be walking the blue line and just lose it, or make a just kind of a quick, hasty play where he's just trying to get rid of the puck because it doesn't have like the confidence to handle the puck at that time or whatever it is, and they would lead to turnovers. That's where you see those 61 giveaways. It just came from mental mistakes that you see in someone that's trying to hold on to their spot, or they're trying to impress, or they're like that anxiety of trying to do everything right, and because you're worried about getting taken out and you're not going to get that play time. The thing that I think is going to improve and boost Zellweger's play and his overall points and the way he is as a defenseman is the fact that now Greg Cronin is out and Joel Quenneville is in. It is talked about how he is a very defensive-minded coach, that he builds his offense from the defensive end, and his ability to utilize especially young, eager defensemen like Zellweger and build up and push them to their limits and make them a solid member of the team and the team style and the play. It's only going to improve. And this is exactly what Olen Zellweger needed. He needs a guy that's going to come in and not only take the nervousness out of his game, but boost the confidence in his game and the great skills that Zellweger has. His skating ability, he's so fast out there. His edge work is impressive. He's almost like a figure skater with how well he can be on his edges. His ability to handle the puck when he's not stressed out. He's got great hands. He gets involved on the rush. A couple of those goals this year and assists were on the rush, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. And his ability to walk the blue line is absolutely impressive to me. He knows how to just go from one end to the other, backwards, forwards, get shots through. He does all these great things as an offensive defenseman. Yes, he's a little smaller, but that does not keep him from utilizing his core strength and his weight, his muscles. He's not tall, but boy, is that guy. I don't know how many workouts he must do a day, but he is an absolute tank out there. And if you've seen it on social media, if you've been to the game early, Olen Zellweger's out there 2 hours before warm-ups, and he's out there stick handling, just in a tracksuit on the ice, just stick handling away, getting the reps, getting the hands warm. Absolutely impressive work ethic out of Olen Zellweger. And Quenneville's that type of coach that I see recognizing the hard work that he puts in, recognizing the skills that he has and what skills he's lacking. And he's going to build from the big things and the good things and build those up. And then the little things, the things that he needs work on, that's all going to come with giving him that confidence to play his style of game. And this will be one of his first seasons that he'll actually see a full season. Last year, he only played about 20 something games. This year, 68 or 62. And so the numbers are going to come with more reps, the more offense that he has. He was the second highest scoring defenseman on the entire team this year, only playing 62 games. That just shows how impressive this kid can be. And it's only going to just skyrocket up into the universe. It's going to take off, skyrockets in flight. Like, it's literally just bam, he's out of here into the next level of playing defense. And next year is going to be his career season. All of that confidence, all of that mismanagement from last year is all going to wipe up, and it's just going to explode into this fantastic, wonderful year for Zellweger. Just like we saw Jackson Lacombe have a great year this year, Zellweger is going to pop off next season. Now, to go back and look at what grades I give him from this year, I give him a B on offense, a B plus on defense, and an overall grade of B plus. Lots of room for improvement, but he was not a disappointment whatsoever this season. I think a lot of the issues came from the mismanagement of his time and in and out of the roster, and they're just that mental not being able to get that rhythm. It just messes with you as a player, and that is going to be taken away next season. He's going to have a coach that's going to see his opportunity and see the potential in Zellweger and completely unlock it. And it's going to be a magnificent power play next year. I think he's going to be getting a lot more reps. It's going to be a power play that actually moves the puck, moves their feet. There's going to be rotation. There's going to be a lot of great changes when it comes to the structure and the defense and the entire rounding out of the Ducks next season. And Zellweger is going to be leading that charge with his career season next year. Another person who's going to be helping out on that defensive end, and this guy's going to be an absolute pitbull. I'm going to tell you why that Pavel Mintyukov is going to be the next McAvoy or Burns or Krug. Think of the big aggressive defensemen that have been taking over the league. Pavel Mintyukov's going to be one of those, and I'm going to tell you why next. Do you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. With Monarch Money, I have all these accounts that I've built over the years from different banks, different jobs, different Fidelity, whatever it is. And then all of my subscriptions and all these things, all the bills I got to pay. It's all right there. I don't have to bounce around trying to figure out what I'm doing with my money. I just go into Monarch Money. It's one-stop shop. My CFO, it's right there ready for me. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Looking at Pavel Mintyukov next. This is a player, he did suffer a bit of a sophomore slump this last season, but in the very near future, he will be an absolute comparable to a player like Charlie McAvoy. He has 68 games played this last season, 5 goals, 14 assists for 19 points. He was -4, little upset there. 20 penalty minutes, no power play goals, but he did have 3 power play assists. Nothing shorthanded for him, and no game-winning goals or overtime goals. He had 69 shots with a 7.2 shot percentage. When he does get shots through, they usually result in a goal either by him or another player. He did not take a single face-off this year, and he had 81 hits, 92 block shots, eating pucks like that machine he is, 13 takeaways, 62 giveaways, and a total on ice average of game played of 17 minutes and 36 seconds. So, again, when you think of players like Charlie McAvoy, Torrey Krug, Chris Tanev, Brent Burns, you think of a pitbull just out there ripping people's heads off, aggressive, unafraid of anyone on the ice. And that is exactly what I think of when I think of Pavel Mintyukov. This kid is absolutely a beast out there on the ice. The amount of reverse hits saw him throw, the amount of times he crushed forwards into the boards, he angles off players, he takes it into the corners and is a battler. He's not afraid to take the punishment. This guy is a complete animal out there on the ice, and I think he did a stellar job this year with also being a player that was fairly mismanaged by Greg Cronin. He was part of the in and out, back and forth party that happened this year. Him and Zellweger, there was times when both of them would be out of the game. There'd be times when one's in, one's out. Really, until Brian Dumoulin got traded at the trade deadline, did both of them see a consistent pace of being in the roster. But even at the end of the year, there were times when these guys would have great successful games, but then they'd get taken out of the roster the next game. They're younger players. They would make certain mistakes or whatever, but this is the time, like, especially when the Ducks were in and out of, like, clearly out of that playoff race, allowed these younger cats to have the reps. I know you want Greg. They wanted to get Ian Moore in. They wanted to get some guys down from the years. They wanted to get Chillington into the roster, but you gotta have the reps for the younger guys, especially guys like Pavel Mintyukov, who's really been an outstanding player on the back end for Anaheim. Last year, he did have 9 more points than this season, 5 less games played in the season prior. So the 23-24 season, he played 5 less games, but had 9 more points. So that's where that sophomore slump kind of comes in. Granted, last year he was -20, and this year he was -4. So some improvement on his defensive end of the puck definitely happened. But this is another player that when it comes to the power play, the penalty kill, the just overall 5-on-5 play, I don't think Greg Cronin's style was working with the capabilities and the level of play that Pavel Mintyukov has. And now bringing in new Quenneville, this defensive minded coach, another guy, he's going to be able to just completely pick up the confidence of Mintyukov and find all of those great assets of his play style and bring them up. And I can see Mintyukov easily getting into those 100 hit call numbers, getting up into the hundreds, 200s, just completely taking off on that physical level of play, especially as he gets older. He's really starting to hit the gym more. He's really learned how this season goes. 2 years under his belt, not a complete seasons yet, but he's going to have the ability to have a full season this next year. He's going to be coming in playing big minutes. He's going to have a much higher mindset. And again, it all comes down to that coaching change now. That the potential and the abilities that are going to be unleashed and unlocked by these players, my expectations is very high for the young defenseman that Anaheim has. And I expect them to see another side of their play. This guy, he was another player. He's involved on the rush. He was up in, there were sometimes when he was down in the forecheck and the forwards were covering the blue line. And he's got that ability to walk the blue line when he needs to. He's definitely more on the physical side of the play, and I feel like his passing and ability to read the space is a little more where he relies, whereas Zellweger's got the insane edges and the the ability to stick handle and move in tight spaces. Mintyukov's more of that open ice. He's got a lot of speed, really great with that. His breakouts are really strong when he finally gets that puck under control. And I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last segment, but with Quenneville, I heard this on Spit and Chicklets from Keith Yandel that Quenneville does not allow defensemen to backhand the puck out. Like it's on drills or anytime, like, hey, get back, like start over, do it the right way, do it on the forehand. And there was a lot of times where turnovers and giveaways by Anaheim were results of the defensemen trying to just blindly backhand it up the board and just trying to get it out of space and not making a tape to tape play or making a confident play. It was more of a hope play and just hoping it'll get out, hoping that it'll someone else will take that puck away, or just trying to get it away from someone and not actually making a play off of the puck. And that's all going to change, it sounds like. So there's a lot of confidence, a lot of great things that are going to come out of this next season. And Pavel Mintyukov is going to not only get up in that physical column with his hits going up into the hundreds, his block shots going up into the hundreds, but I see his points increasing very, very heavily. At least this is a guy that could easily get up into the 30s and 40s in the point column, especially with power play and his ability to join the rush. The utilization of his skill set is only going to increase. So expect a lot of points coming from the young defensemen, from Zellweger, from Mintyukov, and the pitbull will be unleashed. He had a little restraint from Cronin this year. You know, he's kind of pulling on the leash a little bit, but this year it's like unhook that leash, go. You're out there. Like this is the team structure, but you do you inside of that boundary, and it's going to be terrifying for teams to come into Anaheim next year. I feel like the old way of the California road trip just being painful for teams going from Anaheim to LA, it's going to be that is going to be again. It's teams are going to hate coming out to California because they're going to get rocked, they're going to get scored on, they're going to just get defeated. It is. I would be absolutely terrified if I was in the Pacific Division and I was not an Anaheim Ducks fan, or I'm not a player for Anaheim, because things are about to get real up in here. And a person that's going to absolutely help make things get real, I'm going to tell you exactly why Beckett Sennecke is going to be on the top line on the right wing of Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier, and they are going to explode. We'll get into that coming up next. Now, to get into the young man, Beckett Sennecke. This young man is going to break into that top line on Anaheim. He's going to be the right winger of Cutter Gauthier and Leo Carlsson, and these guys are going to explode and just light up the entire NHL. It's going to be amazing fireworks show out in Anaheim, and it's going to all stem from Beckett Sennecke joining the top line. Why do I think he's going to join the top line? Well, if you've been watching the OHL or if you've been looking on social media or keeping track of his performance this year, he absolutely lit the season up. He was one of the top goal scorers in the entire Canadian Hockey League out of the Western Hockey League, OHL, and the QMJHL. All combined, he's one of the top point getters out of all of those leagues. He's in the finals right now with the Oshawa Generals taking on the London Knights, and he is still lighting the lamp. He had an absolute beautiful goal yesterday against the Knights. It was in the end of the game. They're trying to get the game tied up. They're falling behind, but he is not afraid to go in front of the net. And that is exactly where he scores from. He's down low, right in front of the crease. Puck comes off the boards, and he just roofs it off of a backhand shot. Nice in tight. His hands are incredible. His ability to manage the puck in tight spaces, his quick hands, his quick shot, his feet movement. Like, this is a guy, it's been so exciting to watch. One thing I've definitely noticed about his game is, one, he's not afraid to go in front of the net. He crashes that net. He uses his big frame. He will cause mayhem in front of the net. He's kind of similar to Corey Perry in like that he's this kind of big, lanky guy. He's got reach. He's got that just where you see him in pads and then you see him out of pad, you're like, what the heck? You're the skinniest person I've ever met, but you're so tall. That is what Beckett Sennecke reminds me of, is that Corey Perry lengthy worm style of play where he's in front of the net being nasty. He's got good hands up and tight. His ability to change the direction of the puck and the shot is absurd. And his one-timer, this kid has a wicked one-timer. And it all stems from his ability to find the soft spaces, especially if he's out on the power play. But even 5-on-5, he is constantly moving. He is not just staying in one place. Obviously, there's the structure of the team, and you got to recognize that. And you got to be involved in the forecheck, and there's certain things that you have to do structurally. But his ability to read the play and go into those soft spaces or go where the puck's about to go, or get kind of like how Ovechkin, when he's in that power play, and he's got Ovi's office and he somehow can still score from that place. Even though everyone knows that's where he's going to go, Ovechkin has that ability to just kind of float away, disappear into the abyss. Well, Beckett Sennecke kind of has a similar play style, but he's on that right wing, and he just kind of fades, and he reads the defense pretty well, and then he just slides up, gets into that open ice, and then rips the puck. As soon as the puck gets onto his stick, he's got it in the back of the net. And then beyond that, his ability to battle, he's a strong kid. He's locked some massive hits. He's taken hits, but he continues to show up. And when he does get into those 50-50 battles, he's pretty much 90% of the time coming out with the puck. And if you take that prowess, his ability to go to the soft spots, his ability to have sick mitts in tight in front of the net, and you take his one-time shot, his skating ability, his aggressiveness, and then you add it to the works of Cutter Gauthier, who also has that ability to play physical, has the in shot. He has got that nasty shot on his release on the rush, especially off the off foot, like the ability to get a nice shot while you're skating forward. Like, that is its skill that is very like unrecognized. I want to like, I don't know if unrecognized is the right word, but it's one of those skill sets that, like, if you have that ability where you can get a shot off, a snapshot while in motion like that, that just adds to it. So you got Cutter Gautier's ability like that. Then you got Leo Carlsson's prowess, that his speed, his playmaking ability, his ability to get into the get the danger areas, get those pucks, get it out. Leo's just a all around phenomenal player. The way he's taken off, he's popping off in the IHF. So is Cutter Gauthier. So you take those guys with that confidence. You got Beckett Sennecke with the confidence that he's gotten from playing in the playoffs, and you combine all three of those together. It's absurd what can happen on that top line. The three of them coming together, and it works out perfect. Cutter Gauthier, he's a left-hand shot, left winger. Beckett Sennecke, right hand, right wing shot, or right hand shot, right winger. And then you got Leo in the center as a left-handed shot. The one-timers that can come from that, the shots off the rush, the support, the board battles, like that is such a great combination. I don't know how else to explain just how amazing. Like, I know I've been comparing a lot to the Bruins today with Charlie McAvoy and Pavel Mintyukov, but the line, I could see the Carlsson, Gauthier, and Sennecke line being like the Pasta, Marchand, and Bergeron line. That top line that they had, that's basically what I'm seeing out of these three players, with Carlson's prowess and knowledge and ability to play that 200-foot center game defensively, offensively. Definitely a Selke candidate in the future. The Cutter Gauthier's ability to shoot, play aggressive, win battles, his confidence going through the roof. Beckett Sennecke's ability to shoot, have the sick mitts, kind of like you got the Pasta, you got the Marchand like player. Like it's just so similar with those three that it's going to go off. And I definitely see these guys, once they get the rhythm, once Beckett Sennecke gets that play time, he starts getting used to the NHL pace. He starts getting used to the physicality of it and the amount of games. When he gets his feet under him, just like Cutter Gauthier did at the end of this season, I'm seeing at least 50 points each. At least. These guys have the capability, 20 goals each, 50 points each. No problem. Not a single ounce of worry in my mind that cannot happen. Now you got Coach Q coming in, his ability to build offense and mentor young players. And then if you just picture that top line, right? Beckett Sennecke, Cutter Gauthier, Leo Carlsson, and then you've got Mason McTavish with Trevor Zegras, Sam Colangelo, and then you've got the bottom six rounding out with all of the changes, whoever Anaheim brings in. It's going to be insane to come in and play against the Anaheim Ducks. There's going Nikita Nesterenko down there on the bottom six, just blowing through people. It's terrifying. Like I don't know if I'm more terrified that it's that like of just how exciting it's going to be, and like I'm not gonna know who to even talk about because everyone's playing great, or I'm terrified because like there's just a lot of potential here, and I have the hope and this excitement, and I want it to come together. I want it to be the way that I see it, and I think I absolutely give my guarantee that it will happen. And obviously, I'm no Nostradamus or anything like that, but it makes just so much sense. It makes so much sense that those three will be together, and then the rest of the Anaheim forwards will just come right behind, and it's going to be wave after wave after wave of offense and physicality, and it's just going to be scary. And then you've got Mintyukov and Zellweger backing up, Lacombe, Gudis, Trouba, Hellison. Like, it's going to be terrifying. There is so much that Anaheim can do in the next year and the next couple of years. And watch out. If you're not a Ducks fan, you're gonna be soon, because it's gonna be exciting stuff to watch. And speaking of exciting stuff, there's always exciting stuff to talk about in the offseason, from these grades to the draft coming up to free agency. So make sure you keep tuning in. I'm going to be covering it all. There's everything and anything to talk about during the offseason. And if there's anything that you guys want me to cover, mention in the comments, reach out, hit me up on the socials, whatever it is. Let me know what you guys want to hear, because you guys help the show as well. Like, your voice matters. We're all fans here of the Ducks, and it's just exciting times right now. So thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night, until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts. That's where you can find this podcast. Make sure you go like and subscribe to the YouTube. Once again, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.